2022. It's not just about winning back the House and Senate. It's also about cleaning house in the Republican Party. You know, so we can officially retire the term Republicans in name only and put those donkeys disguised as elephants out to pasture. And it starts with firing these 10 characters: Liz Cheney, Anthony Gonzalez, Jamie Herrera Butler, John Katko, Adam Kinzinger, Peter Meyer, Dan Newhouse, Tom Rice, Fred Upton, and David Villado. Now, up until this week, President Trump had only announced 2 challengers to these 10 losers: Max Miller to replace Anthony Gonzalez in Ohio's 16th congressional district, and Joe Kent to replace Jamie Herrera Butler in Washington's 3rd congressional district. But now, President Trump is announcing his 3rd pick, Steve Carra, to replace Fred Upton in Michigan's 6th congressional district. So first of all, before we get to know Steve Carra, who exactly is Fred Upton? Well, his claim to fame or infamy is the fact that he is, of course, one of the 10 Republican witch hunters who voted for the impeachment hoax 2.0. At the time, tweeting this: "The Congress must hold President Trump to account and send a clear message that our country cannot and will not tolerate any effort by any president to impede the peaceful transfer of power from one president to the next. Thus, I will vote to impeach." Wow, how uppity can Upton get? Sure, he might have won his re-election in Michigan's 6th congressional district in 2020 at 55.8%, 15.7% over the Democrat, a margin of over 59,000 votes. But does he really think he won it because he was so popular? Or is it due to the fact that Upton, like so many other rhinos, rode on President Trump's coattails? As just look at how President Trump fared in the counties making up Michigan's 6th congressional district. President Trump won Berrien County at 52.8%. by a margin of over 6,000, Cass at 63.7% by a margin of over 7,500. Now, Biden supposedly carried Kalamazoo at 58.4% by a margin of almost 27,000. But St. Joseph, President Trump carried at 64.9% by a margin of almost 9,000. Van Buren at 55.3% by a margin of almost 5,000. In Allegan County, most of which is also in the 6th congressional district, President Trump carried at 61.7% by a margin of almost 17,000. So how is Fred Upton feeling now that these coattails are being pulled out from under him? As President Trump issued this statement on Tuesday, writing, "It is my great honor to endorse Michigan State Representative Steve Carra to oppose Rhino Congressman Fred Upton. Upton has not done the job that our country needs. For years has talked about leaving office and not running again, and he voted for impeachment of the President of the United States on rigged-up charges. He doesn't deserve to keep his seat. Steve Carra, on the other hand, is strong on crime, borders, and loves our military and our vets. Steve will continue to fight for low taxes and all of the other things that the great people of Michigan want and need. Steve Carra has my complete and total endorsement." So who is Steve Carra? Well, meet the candidate.
I'm State Representative Steve Carra, representing all of St. Joseph County and most of Cass County. Having been in Southwest Michigan my whole life, I graduated from Portage Northern in 2007 and from Western Michigan University in 2011 with degrees in economics and political science. Right out of college, I was a research assistant here at Acton Institute, a Christian-based free market think tank in Grand Rapids. I then worked for Michigan's most conservative state representative for 3 years before running for office myself.
Like Lansing, Washington is full of too many status quo politicians.
Our current congressman has been in office longer than I've been alive. Despite him being more moderate than me, the real problem is he's a go-along-to-get-along politician. There's not much difference between him and Nancy Pelosi. Are you ready to send somebody to Washington to defend our Southwest Michigan values? Together, we can and will make a difference.
I'm Steve Carra, and I approve this message.
Joining us now, the man himself, the next congressman from Michigan's 6th congressional district, Steve Carra. Is it too early to say Mr. Congressman? Congratulations on your endorsement from President Trump. You know, it doesn't just make a difference, it really does make the difference.
Thank you, Natalie. That was a powerful intro. Thank you for that. And I'm not going to let my foot off the pedal. I always say, if you ever get bad news, work harder. If you ever get good news, work harder. If you ever get no news at all, work harder. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I've proven myself as a conservative fighter. It's an honor to be endorsed by President Trump. I'm looking for this opportunity, and I'm very grateful for this.
Well, the people of Michigan especially have been so motivated based on what happened November 3rd, but also when you have a congressman like Upton who actually would do something like that and betray not President Trump, but the people of Michigan who he claims to represent for decades.
Correct. And if he's got a concern, thinks something happened on January 6th, where has he been with Maxine Waters? She actually goes around the nation inciting violence. He's quiet on that issue. Seems like pointing fingers at conservatives is more of interest than actually standing up for the base. And it's time for somebody new. He's ranked the second most liberal Republican in Congress. He's been in office longer than I've been alive. It's time to have a true conservative, a proven fighter, and a patriot. And it's an honor to be in this position.
What motivated you to declare now? What was the main issue, if you had to name just one issue, where you said, this is my time to unseat this rhino?
The straw that broke the camel's back is when he voted to impeach President Trump. And so I was looking at that and I was like, wow, this is it. He's done. He cannot overcome what he just did. It's unacceptable. It's out of touch with the people from the district, and it's time to have somebody new.
What have you been hearing from the people now that you have President Trump's endorsement? What have you been hearing on the ground? What's the main issue for them? Not just the impeachment, but also wanting to know what happened on November 3rd.
Well, verifying the election results is something that's critically important. I sponsored the bill calling for a full forensic audit here in Michigan. I've been working hard on that. I've had a lot of my colleagues who are starting to become more interested in it. We have a room left to go. But whether it ends up being the bill I introduced or subpoena powers or a petition drive, we need to verify what happened in the last election. This idea that we're going to pass dozens of bills in the state legislature regarding election integrity, but we're not going to see what worked and what didn't work from the last election is hypocritical. What's the need if there was nothing wrong? Let's see what happened. Let's verify the election results. Let's see where the fraud occurred. We know there's all kinds of election irregularities out there. I won a lawsuit against the Secretary of State back in October, and that was largely not followed on Election Day. There's all kinds of problems out there.
What has been the reaction within the state legislature? Because we've all wanted to see a lot more action out of the Michigan state legislature, but you've got not just rhinos in there, they're never Trumpers, never whatever you want to call them, who are really obstructing justice.
It's time for us to stand up and represent the people from our districts. If we can spend millions of dollars to send absentee ballot applications out unsolicited, or millions of dollars to a large corporation that gets a special deal that all other businesses don't get, it's the least we can do to spend a few $1 million to verify the election results. It's insulting that we haven't done anything by this point.
Real quick, what's your message to the people of Michigan as everybody's excited? The primaries, they are getting pretty close now in terms of campaigning. What's your message to them?
Remain vigilant, remain strong. Remember who we're up against. We're up against the radical left that is falling off a socialist cliff. We're up against the rhinos, the status quo, the establishment, the career politicians, and we need the grassroots people. If there's a grassroots person you may not agree with on everything, maybe work from a different avenue. But instead of fighting one another, fight for what you believe in and fight to win what you believe in.
Steve, again, congratulations on this endorsement and your campaign. We're all going to be watching it. We're excited to get rid of those 10 rhinos. It's time they were retired for good because they're doing too much damage, not just to the Republican Party, but really to America at this point. So keep us posted. God bless you, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks, Natalie.
Thank you.